Pastor Korede Komaiya recently made two assertions that ignited a firestorm in the Nigerian Christian community. He guaranteed that if they adhered to his teachings, they would become millionaires in 90 days.
If you do what I teach, you will be a millionaire in 90 days, if not shorter. If you do what I teach, you will cross billions in 6 months. Look at all the good reports. Look at all the good reports. Look at all the good reports.
He followed this with an even sharper declaration, his absolute refusal to ever follow a poor pastor. These provocations mark the culmination of a systemic, decades-long shift in Nigerian Pentecostalism. Throughout much of the 20th century, the dominant religious framework was a theology of asceticism and suffering. Believers often equated poverty with piety, viewing material lack as a badge of spiritual honor. Today, that framework has been largely replaced by a prosperity pragmatism. This creates a direct theological conflict. We have to ask if material wealth is a valid metric for spiritual authority, or if attaching a monetary value to grace undermines biblical discipleship entirely. We can see this conflict by analyzing Komaiya's science of results against classical critiques from religious figures like Pastor Abel Damina, Prophet Joel Ogebe, and Kessiana Asiri. This debate exposes a crisis of identity within the modern African church. It forces a public reckoning over how divine grace and the leadership that stewards it are actively measured. To understand this pragmatic shift, we have to look at the socioeconomic reality of Nigeria. Decades of systemic instability, hyperinflation, and a shrinking middle class have decimated traditional pathways to economic security. In response, the church evolved. A recent analysis in the International Journal of Modern Science and Research Technology categorizes Komaiya's approach as functionalist leadership. Under the functionalist model, the modern pastor operates as a product demo. Their personal wealth and organizational success act as empirical proof that their spiritual principles are functional and viable in the real world. This requires a strict redefinition of poverty. Komaiya transitions poverty away from a simple lack of fiscal resources and redefines it as a cognitive limitation, a poverty of ideas and intellectual stagnation. The psychological argument here relies on social cognitive theory. If a leader is constrained by a poverty mindset, they will inevitably transmit those cognitive boundaries to their congregation, creating a cycle of communal stagnation. Traditional religious mindsets historically romanticized lack as a sign of humility or spiritual purity. Believers found comfort in their economic conditions by framing them as a virtue. Komaiya uses aggressive rhetoric as shock therapy. By intentionally offending the traditional religious ego and making poverty appear unholy, he aims to jolt his audience out of complacency and force them into active economic pursuit. When state safety nets collapse, the ability to produce visible, reproducible material success becomes the ultimate credential for pulpit relevance. We see this theology applied in an extreme case study, a recent 250 million naira personal donation toward a 1.5 billion naira Rolls Royce. The recipient of this vehicle was Bishop David Oyedepo, presented in honor of his 70th birthday. This transaction operates on the mechanics of social exchange theory. Massive financial investment is directly linked to spiritual loyalty. The donor receives a blueprint for marketplace strategy, and in return provides financial partnership and allegiance. The expected return on this exchange is rapid and literal. Following his 250 million naira contribution, Komaiya claimed his annual income became his daily income, transitioning him from a millionaire to a billionaire in a matter of weeks. To justify these rapid returns, Komaiya cites 1 Kings 18:46, noting that the hand of the Lord came upon Elijah, allowing him to physically outrun King Ahab's chariot. This forms the doctrine of supernatural speed. Divine presence and grace bypass normal economic logic, allowing a believer to cross billions in months. This wealth serves as an engine for human capital development, establishing business schools and vocational centers within the church. The functionalist model treats a Rolls Royce purchase as a calculated spiritual investment intended to accelerate rapid economic dominion. Both sides hold a vital truth. The failure of the state makes economic empowerment programs essential for survival, yet an unchecked prosperity gospel risks corrupting the soul of the church. Apostle Michael Oyedepo offers a moderating synthesis regarding how modern ministries should handle capital. Oyedepo views money as a highly effective, practical kingdom tool for logistics, travel, and outreach. However, he considers it a catastrophic metric for measuring the presence of God or the integrity of a leader. Modern churches often operate as institutions of massive scale and influence, organizing international crusades, broadcasting networks, and large-scale gatherings require significant logistical capital. This brings us to the philanthropic mandate, a concept that bridges prosperity pragmatism and classical discipleship. Under this mandate, wealth flows through an institution to serve the community, rather than pooling around a single figurehead. This model leverages resources for community development, funding education grants, and full healthcare coverage, achieving results without materialism. A truly balanced theology views wealth as a secondary byproduct of faithful, community-focused stewardship. It is a tool for systemic intervention rather than an absolute credential for leadership.